Wreck or washout and to repair and maintain the tracks in a hurry so that the flow of freight would not be detained. Now this crew would be reminiscent of an extra force gang that would be called out. We would line the track, set it in order, and in doing that, the whole track at times would have to be shifted to put back in line. They would hire, so in doing that, we had to have some means of keeping the manpower synchronized. And the way they did that was through a cadence song. We used a cadence much like the soldiers do when they're marching, something that would give you rhythm, that would take advantage of the power of every man on the track. So in doing that, they would have a caller at the head of the line that would sing a little funny song, but it would be designed to keep the rhythm of all of the guys intact. So usually that caller would be somebody with a strong voice that could be heard and would be clear about what he was singing to keep this motion going. So now let's listen to a lining bar gang at work. Frank Cottrell will be the caller for the day.
Zet ons in het Tiffany. Zet het als Tiffany.
Yeah, man. Yeah, boy, it's all right. Hold your ticket, hold your home. That's my money, but it won't be off. Hold your ticket, hold your home. That's my money, won't be off. Yeah, man. Yeah, boy, it's all right. Mama, look at sister. I know you're going to do that twist. Mama, look at sister. And you know you're doing that twist.
Doing that twist.
Let's get right, man. All right. Yeah, boy, it's all right. Reason I love my baby so much, $5 give me for reason I love baby so. Take $5, give me for. It's all right. Read my baby look so sweet, won't eat nothing but boy for we need. My baby look so sweet, won't eat nothing but for me. Let's get right, man. All right, all right. Hey, boy, it's all right. Way down in Arkansas, boys all married, mama-in-law. Way down in Arkansas, boys all married, mama-in-law. Hey, boy, it's all right. Ain't no need of calling home. You ain't got your wife and gone. Ain't no need of calling home. You ain't got your wife and gone. All right, come back. Ladies and gentlemen, you can see that was not easy work. In the 90-degree heat in all kinds of weather, these fellows had to be out. And with 30 or 40 men on the track, a track like this would be moving. And sometimes they would move it a little bit too far. In that case, they would tell them to change the way of living, which meant switch to the other side and bring it back a little bit where you brought it from. Ladies and gentlemen, we had a couple of men listen when we started this. Eddie Neighbors here is our captain, which usually do what I'm doing now, so he will direct them which way to the track. All right, Captain, take over. All right, good boy. Go ahead and remember that. Oh, good a weekend. I'll do a couple. Wake up, boys. Boys. Wake up, boys, light your lamp, highway robbers, and you can't wake up, boys.
Light your lamp, highway robber, in your camp. Yeah, join your head, hit it hard. I can't see to save my life, how my mind get away from me. I can't see to save my life, how my money got away from me. All right, Robert. Give your people back, ain't no need, wear no black, ain't no rain, people black. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we're going to stop for a moment and demonstrate to you how they used to put the spikes down. You got to remember that in the old days, every spike on these sides all the way down the track had to be driven by hand. And usually it was anywhere from 6 to 8 spikes in one high. And that had to be done all day long. They swung these hammers. First we're going to have Copper, Frank Copper, and Eddie Davis is going to drive. Ladies and gentlemen, let's prepare the next story. I tell you, Eddie here is 84 years old. Frank is 72. All right. We have here Harry Morris, 83 years old. Born in 1977. What is left over from the real wave. These guys are still at it.
Yeah, passei no serviço, na verdade.
Alan here, as he has both hips replaced, is a veteran of World War II and the Battle of Iwo Jima survived. Now the days gone by, when they were active and working, it was not elevated to the point of being foreman or captain in these gangs. Usually they were limited to just what you have been demonstrated here. However, the gangs had songs that they used to sing to management and to the railroad captains. They used to sing about it. So now let's listen to a song that is aimed at the captain.
All right, son, get hot. Get hot. I'm 5.5 now. All right. Now let's get together. All right, then, now let's take up all these lost villains.
Sit down, man.
Oh, sit down, buddy.
Talk about it.
Don't you down, boy.
What do you say, Captain? Hey, boys, it's all right. Captain stand with the paper in his hand, does you hardly read his name. Captain stand, paper in his hand, L-B-E-B-N-A.
Look at your head. You're fired, Captain, down there.
What do you say, Captain?
You're fired.
Now look at the captain.
Look at it, boy. Look at it.
Hey, boys, it's all right. Look at the captain, how he stand, more like a bomber, the railroad man. Look at the captain, how he stand, more like a bomber, railroad man.
Whoa, miss that man here. Boy, ain't no going on. Thank you, Frank.
Yeah, man. Hey, boy.
Join ahead, Henry. Join ahead, Henry. That's a weak tag.
Hey, boy, it's all right. Captain, Captain, can't you see that it's like it's killing me? Captain, Captain, can't you see that it's like killing me?
Down your own time. My time, get out.
You right, man? All right. Hey, boy, it's all right. Ain't no need of slacking back. Ain't no hungry riders back. Ain't no need slacking back. Ain't go home, riders back.
All right. Change the wheel, every boy. Hold it back like that. Take your time. We'll all make it.
Let's get right, man. Yeah, boy, it's all right. I hear rumbling in the west. Must be a cuckoo building nest. I hear rumbling in the west. Must be a cuckoo building nest.
All right, boy. Hey, boy.
Let's get right.
In the right.
Hey, boy, it's all right. I don't know what I've been told. And it be off and go. I don't know. I've been told. And it be off and go.
Bring it back. Get easy. Woo!
Let's get right, man. Hey, boy, it's all right. Mary, Martha, Luke, and John, all them good folks didn't go. Mary, Martha, Luke, and John, all them good folks didn't go.
Run ahead. Get easy, man.
Okay, let's go. By now, somebody must be wondering how this gang got started and what you've been doing. And so also, I'll try to give you a little history on that. Back in 1989, our manager here, Mr. Charles Walker Society, and they decided once that they wanted to preserve some of the railroad songs. So they called the gang together because he lived in an area where most of these songs live. Got them together for a demonstration on the local tracks in our town. The news media heard about it. They came out to see what we were doing. We had television crew there from Richmond and Charlottesville. They came to cover the event. And since that time, we found ourselves almost every weekend during the summer at some particular place demonstrating how this was done. So we've been to many places throughout the states, demonstrated this last Saturday this time we were in Chalcott, West Virginia. We've been out to California twice, and we've been up and down the East Coast performing at colleges, high schools, and elementary schools, demonstrating to the younger people how it was done and reminding them that before the trains could run, somebody had to get out there and lay the track, and that was not an easy job. It took a lot of back-breaking work and a lot of dedication to do this. So I will now introduce the guys to you and tell you a little bit about each one. First, I'll introduce the manager, Mr. Charles White. He's the guy that got it started. Next is the foreman of the gang, Eddie Neighbors. Eddie is 83 years old, and Eddie worked for the railroad and CMO for about 6 years. Eddie is the witness to a terrible accident that they had during the war in Charlottesville, Virginia, where the engineer and fireman were killed in an accident when he sped across a loose bed that had been worked on, and the engineer had kind of got his orders mixed up. He was traveling too fast for the condition of the track. The train derailed, turned over, scalding the fireman and the engineer. Next we have Frank Cottrell, which is our #1 caller now. Frank is 72 years old. Frank worked on the railroad for a while, but he decided so he got himself another job in highway construction. So Frank is the only one of the group that is still working. His boss needs him so much that he won't let him retire. He is making all kinds of deals with him to keep him going. So Frank is still at it. Frank, by the way, has next in line is Weldon Painting. Weldon has 34 years with the New York Transit Authority doing this kind of work on the subway system. Weldon during his career was hit by a train once and he's lucky to still be mobile and be ahead. Behind him is Harry Morris. Harry worked 34 years for the C&O. Harry has served before the veteran of World War II. Harry has had both hips replaced, and he makes every show that we do. Strong man. Next is Dan McKinney.
What did they do, Daddy?
Dan McKinney is 68 years old. Dan had 25 years on the rails.
I mean, this is their paper there, and you can't see that. It did camera test. In your camera test. You're losing them.
3 years with the railroad, and he decided that was enough. He went to work for Alcan Aluminum, from which he retired as a foreman. That is John Paul. We have Charles Lefwitz. I've been a tractor trailer driver 40 years at the wheel. Charles has never worked on the railroad a day in his life. He enjoyed being with the gang and he liked being around. Next is Robert Jones. Robert worked on the railroad for a time, and he decided it wasn't his cup of tea, so he retired as a foreman from the shipping section of Montgomery Ward. My name is Frank Austin. I did not work on the railroad. I'm an imposter, you might say. However, I come from a family that did. I enjoyed doing this, but my life was as a supervisor of mechanics for the city of New York, and my current hobby is restoring antique cars and leading. Now we'll get back with a few more songs, and we will end it up.
Where is it, David? You're hungry?
Oh, by the way, we have tapes of the gang with their chant for sale at that table. Anyone here to buy one or look at the one near there?
Let's get right, man. Number 5 on your tail. Let's get right. Hey, boy, it's all right. What did the rooster say to the hen? Meet me in the barn, boy, 10:30. What did the rooster say to the hen? Meet me in the barn, 10:30. Let's get right, baby. All right. Hey, boy, it's all right. You got a girl, I don't you know, ain't gonna be your man no more. Don't you know, ain't gonna be your man no more. Let's get right, man. All right. Hey, boy, it's all right. Peach and honey, rock and ride, drink on liquor till I die. Peach and honey, rock and ride, drink on liquor till I die. Let me that quarter call. Let me get right, man. All right. Yeah, boy, it's all right. Hand me down a quarter sure you gon' hand me down for the cone. I'll get drunk, sure you gon'.
Go get the beans.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's how we're going to do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a Buckingham Wine Bar a big hand.